Hello YouTube, my name is Marie. Today I'm going to be talking about the recent Korean space opera entitled Space Sweepers. Now I'm going to be upfront and totally honest with you guys. Space as a genre for me has never really clicked. I've never really enjoyed it or been interested in it. So the sole reason why I put this movie on was the fact that I was curious to see what Korea's take on the space opera genre would be like. I say that all to preface the fact that I just don't find space car chases very interesting, and I don't find laser guns all that fun or anything like that. So my feeling that the show is, or the movie is quite boring, you gotta keep that in mind, that space is just not my genre. So what is Space Sweepers actually about? So the movie is set in a post-apocalyptic future where Earth has become a very harsh and inhabitable place, so most of humanity has gone to space. If you are wealthy or working for the regime, you live in this utopian bubble, while the rest, including our leading cast, has to work extremely hard for basically scraps in order to survive. Our heroes are space sweepers. Is essentially like a cleanup crew for space. They fly around in their spaceship picking up man-made debris in order to take it out of the rotation, because things flying around in space when you're living in space can be quite dangerous. You don't want a rogue telescope coming and hitting through your window or something. Now, amongst the space sweeper community, our cast is not very well liked. They tend to swoop in at the last minute and steal other crews' junk. And I actually kind of liked that aspect about them. I thought it made them quite piratey. And one day our space sweepers find a young girl up in the rubble, and is she a harmless little girl or is she a deadly weapon? You'll have to watch to find out. Now, I have seen a lot of criticisms levied at this film because of the unoriginal plot, and while I do agree that the plot is nothing new or innovative, that's not the reason why I think it's so forgettable. Because you can give me the most tired, tropey plot imaginable, but if it has really interesting, really in-depth, fleshed out characters, I will probably still watch it and enjoy it. Now, our crew consists of our male lead. His main motivations in working for the space sweepers is to get as much money as possible in order to try and find his daughter. And the captain of the crew is a woman. You don't learn much else about her until the last quarter of the movie. And then you've got, I don't really know what his role is. It's very unclear to me. He's in what looks like a boiler room on the spaceship, moving levers around in order to make the spaceship fly. I don't know what he does. The little girl calls him Tiger Samchun, which I thought was really charming. And he's this really big, rough and tumble kind of guy, very hardworking. And then the last member of the crew is a robot. Now, out of all of them, my favorites were the robot and Tiger Samchun. I just felt like I didn't need a lot of explanations about their characters or motivations in order to really gravitate towards them. Even later on in the movie, when we are given some of their backstories, I didn't feel like it added to their characters. I didn't like them any more or less having found out more of their history. In contrast, the captain of the ship, she really doesn't have much characterization beyond being a woman in charge until the very last part of the movie when we do find out her backstory. And in that situation, it was just kind of so tacked on. In fact, everybody's backstory that we get beyond our male lead is so tacked on, which does make this movie feel as if it's an adaptation. This cast of characters are quite shallow, but I keep thinking that they might be a shallow portrayal of really in-depth beloved characters that exist somewhere else. So if you guys know if this is an adaptation, please let me know. I did a quick search and I couldn't find anything. It seems like there's a webtoon that's been released based on the movie itself, so I think the movie is original, but again, it just feels like an adaptation from the characters and then also the messages it's trying to convey to the audience. Like, this movie is trying to tackle so much. You've got the discussion of human nature, the corruption of the media, and then also the cycle of poverty and capitalism. And I honestly don't think the movie does a good job at discussing any of them. Like, they're there and you can very obviously point to these discussions, but again, nothing new is added to these discussions. Like, there's nothing new from this movie that makes me think about these subjects. They were just there. I would say the conversation between money and human nature is the biggest one that the movie tries to tackle. But I didn't feel the urgency with this conversation because none of the characters beyond our male lead have this need for money. Like, yes, the captain wants to make money in order to like repair and keep her ship so the bank doesn't take it, and yes, like the robot wants to save up enough money to get skin grafts, but I didn't feel the urgency, you know? Like, this show is trying to have a conversation about how money is the root of corruption and like human evils, but like none of the characters I think ever got to that point where I was also very torn between money and the right thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Lastly, the effects. I thought the effects were quite good. I have seen criticisms that the effects weren't very good. I thought they were fine, they were serviceable, but again, I don't watch a lot of space opera television or movies, so maybe these effects were bad within the genre. I thought they were fine. So in the end, I do give Space Sweepers points for ambition, but ultimately it bites off way more than it can chew, and it is a very forgettable watch. I don't think this is one you have to see. Okay, so that is everything for me. Please let me know down below if you guys have seen Space Sweepers and what you thought of it. Have a good day and a good night. Bye.